The table that won't shut up, please shut up and let the DM talk. Hello RPG horror stories. This is the tale of the session I just played. This is my third ever session of D&D, so I don't have a lot of experience. This was actually, in most ways, a great session, and I really like playing D&D. However, there were enough horror moments that I figured I'd write up a story. If anyone sees this and recognizes who it's about, please don't be offended. I really did enjoy the session overall. The people. The DM is a good DM. Naviv Hobbit barred me, the only good character in a party of evil. Ironically, this is not the biggest problem with this group. Evil Warlock, de facto leader, wants to lead a slave rebellion and take over the country/continent/world. Shady Warlock, less evil, more fraudulent, draws up a lot of fake contracts. Bloodthirsty Paladin, self-explanatory. Aggressive Barbarian, always looking for a fight. Silent Rogue, like, almost always silent. Cleric, this was the first session he could make, which contributed to the issues as we now had 7 players. I'll start the tale with our party all escaped slaves themselves, having hired 2 ships, sailing together, sort of on the run, after having freed about 20 slaves in a daring caper that ended in a nobleman's mansion burning down and a troll set loose on a small town. The session started out great, with some good roleplay in which Evil Warlock convinced Naviv Hobbit bard me to join his anti-slavery crusade in earnest, and forewarned him that there would sometimes need to be sacrifices and questionable decisions made for the greater good. We actually worked on how to make my character work well with an evil party. Great so far. However, there were frequent outbursts of someone making a joke, having a loud side conversation, or interjecting into another player's roleplay when their character wasn't present. It took quite a while for the session to really get going. Mostly I think this was coming from Bloodthirsty Paladin and Aggressive Barbarian. Eventually we get to the main event of the session, which I think was very well set up by the DM. We come across a rapidly sinking ship with 20 crew members, more slaves under attack by 2 large sea creatures. Cue loud. Frequent speculation by Bloodthirsty Paladin as to exactly what type of monster these are, while the DM tries to describe the scene. Cue 6 different side conversations as various parties try to work out a general plan, along with individual plans. 4. This being an evil party, some members have competing goals, involving killing the captain of our own ship and making it look like an accident, so as to make sure he cannot dispute the fake contract drawn up by Shady Warlock, and Shady and Evil Warlock can take possession of the ship. So I actually thought this was really cool. We are 60 feet away from the sinking ship, and we need to rescue the crew while they try to escape the sea monsters. And 34 of us are actively trying to get our captain killed, while hiding it from the Naviv Hobbit bard and the rest of the crew. Lots of chaos, a far more complex battle than just kill bad guys. Oh, and 10 giant dinosaur bird things have appeared on the horizon. Now the first real horror part. The crew of the sinking ship is mostly swimming to our ship. A few have been eaten at this point. We've killed 1 sea creature right beside our ship, and our captain is swinging on ropes in the rigging to get a better view. It's a habit of his, I guess. Evil Warlock implements his plan and paralyzes the captain, who falls into the water. I get the sense that EM is trying to not have the captain die. At any rate, the captain is paralyzed, but still hanging on the rope. Immediately Bloodthirsty Paladin reveals that he summoned his stead as a shark, and he orders it to attack the captain. DM, your stead has been a shark this whole time, and was waiting there? Paladin, yes DM, you never told me this, and it would have dramatically impacted the battle, as the sea creature you killed would have attacked your stead, not rammed the ship. Eventually it transpires that, while those 6 side conversations were happening, the paladin had written down the plan and passed it to the warlocks, which does exactly jack for the DM, who now has to integrate this new info into his encounter somehow. Paladin said he had mentioned it, and he probably did, but since the table wouldn't shut up, and in any case the DM had been trying to set the scene, it was lost in the noise. DM chose to allow the shark to be there rather than not. He had to really bend over backwards to accommodate the players, I thought. Despite the efforts of my bard, who tried to heal the captain and shoot at a random shark that had attacked, the captain was dragged away and eventually killed by the second sea creature. At this point battle is devolving more and more into eye roll. Hit, damage with the DM's normally great descriptions truncated or cut altogether. Because people will not stop talking. It's all I can do to make my actions heard, so I can take my turns. Let alone try to describe any kind of heroic actions. This is getting crazy long. So I'm going to talk about the next part of the session in another post. But I think we ended up with an important NPC dead because the DM had to integrate on the fly a new piece of info that had been lost in the noise of the table talking. TLDR. Players won't stop talking. With the result that a major detail of the battle is unknown to the DM until halfway through the fight, causing him to have to struggle and eventually lose an important PC, and combat descriptions get lost in the noise. So we are basically rolling dice and yelling numbers. Nightmare DM, scare tactics. Someone said it would be good for here. And I just remembered another time the DM I always talk about managed to kill a player in a new way. I'm not sure where we were level wise. Somewhere between 68. We had our orc barbarian, wacky druid his girlfriend, dragonborn fighter, a ranger, second druid, and I believe I was still a mage at this time. We were investigating some evil maid going ons, and we were deep in a forest. We came upon a mage and some of his cultists. This was not meant to be an encounter, or at least an easy scripted plot one. Someone had been scaring a local village, and we got paid to go solve this. On the way we started setting off spell traps. Nothing serious, just illusions to deter people and scare them away. I think everyone set off one but me and the ranger, because we walked in the back. One of the people in our group was seriously arachnophobia. To the point, like he had to leave the room if there was ever a spider in it. The second druid / his roommate usually dealt with it. The DM knows this, so the DM decides to use a few metagaming tactics. These illusions are supposed to be of the user's greatest fear. So when our dragonborn fighter sets off one, he begins to describe an illusion where he is covered in spiders and everything just has a layer of spiders on it for like 30 seconds. He handled it pretty well, but he shivered after it was over and left to take a walk so he could shake it off. Some people thought this was going a little far, but the DM, his girlfriend and the orc didn't see a problem with it. So after all these illusions, fear traps and spells, we see a clearing. We are sitting in a bush and see a mage with several cultist goblins in a clearing. This is the guy we came to take out. The party goes about a plan. I plan to use some magic missiles. I was a lower level than the party because of all my deaths, while the range would make a sniper shot to his head. We had almost finished the plan when our orc player decides to be a barbarian. Because it's funny. Jumping out of the bush he blows our surprise and yells at them and charges. So as he runs at them and the rest of the party sighs and prepares to rush in, the mage looks surprised and points at the barbarian. This is what happens next. DM. Okay, so you are the biggest and largest person rushing at him, so he points his finger at you. Roll, you will save. Orc. Rolls 3. DM. What? Orc. Yeah, it was only a 3. DM. Looks partly distressed. Oh wow. You failed your save. What is your wisdom? Orc. 7. DM. Roll fortitude. Orc. Doesn't make it. DM. Uneasiness increases. The orc was one of his 3 favorite players. Roll your wisdom save again. Orc. Rolls 5. DM. Damn it. Orc. What? Everyone. Silence. DM. He just killed you with a level 2 spell. Orc. What? DM. So here is what happens. As he points at you, you notice you are in a shadow. When you look up, there is a giant spider falling from the sky and it crushes you to death. The rest of you look and see the orc run in, look up and fall over dead. Everyone lost it. Mostly because he brought it on himself, but also because he was one of the only characters other than his girlfriend who had not died in the game yet did dumb things like this every encounter. He started to roll up a new character while the party dealt with the relatively weak enemies. Never seen a DM accidentally kill his player with a level 2 spell and try to scare a player using outside knowledge.